Hello everyone, please let me know if I'm audible and my screen is visible. Okay, perfect. Let's get started, guys. So the agenda for the day is deep dive into the edge base, understand edge base architecture and internal components. Okay, and see like how much we understand edge base. So if you look at my screen, can you please tell me the answer to the first question? Edge base is like which kind of a database? A, B, C, D, guys. Yeah, Aditi, correct. Yes, Varsha, correct. Okay, perfect. So it's the first one, which is the column family or the column oriented. Now, which of these commands are there to start the HBase master? Any idea? We definitely didn't do it. Okay. We can definitely skip this, but there was certain commands which I pinged you initially, which was like start edge base and stop edge base. So you can definitely skip this, but most probably it will be this one, which is like start-sbase.sh, or it can be like this one, start all. Okay, we don't need it as a developer. This is needed by the admins. Okay, but I'll tell you the right answer. Okay, edge-based master can be accessed on which of the web-based port number? Any idea? Yesterday we saw the meta table, and in the meta table you saw a port, a particular port. Okay, so if you can relate it to that. Yeah, it's 60010. Each service has its own port. uh, this you definitely know. Yeah, it's the list, right? List, it shows you all the tables. List, show tables is in Linux, sorry, is in Hive. Show tables works in Hive, but in HBase this is the command. Now, how to list the data in a table? How to list the data in a table? Yeah, it's a scan or get, right? There are two options, scan and get. Gulzar, there may be fake commands, so you don't. These are not right. Huh? List all tables करके मतलब there is nothing. It's list. Describe का purpose अलग होता है. Show tables यहाँ पे होता ही नहीं है. Okay. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सारी कमांड सही हैं. Columns are declared at the time of creation of HBase table, guys. Yes, Gulzar. Yeah, so the answer is false, right? Because HBase does not have static schema. Yes, Rahul, correct. Aditi, you got it right. It's column family that you declare, not the columns. Perfect. Column families are declared at the time of creation. True, absolutely. Which property of a column family allows to store multiple values in one cell? Guys, we already discussed this also. एक सेल की मल्टीपल वैल्यूज स्टोर करना is by the versions. Absolutely correct. What Hive cannot offer? Absolutely correct. It's not OLTP, right? whereas HBase provides OLTP with certain limitations, right? It's not ACID compliant. The partitioning of a table in Hive creates what? Uh, yes, correct. Yeah, Aditi, Vipul, Varsha. Subdirectories under the table, right? So normally we have one folder for a table, but if we partition it, there will be multiple subfolders, right? So let's see how many of ours are the correct answers. Uh, okay, let's submit it. So let's check the response. So all 10, okay, all 10 are correct. So we know that it's column family, but this is one of the admin commands, which is to start the HBase. There is a start HBase and stop HBase. Okay, nothing like all HBase, all shell, nothing. It's a start HBase and stop HBase. 60010 आप लोगों ने बताया मुझे. लिस्ट कमांड, स्कैन कमांड, कॉलम्स कब डिक्लेयर किए जाते हैं, कॉलम फैमिलीज कब डिक्लेयर किए जाती हैं, वर्जन्स क्या होते हैं, OLTP OLAP क्या होता है और पार्टीशनिंग क्या होती है. परफेक्ट. So with that, let's come back to the HBase. So far we are good with the HBase, how HBase works. But now let's see the architecture of HBase in detail. Yeah. So this is where we stopped yesterday. As in HBase में there is a master, H master, which is like the name node, and then you have the region servers, which is like the data nodes. Okay. But what are these? Okay, these are very, very important. So let's understand that. So let's say this is my HBase table. Okay. Now an HBase table, जब भी हमें एक HBase table को स्टोर करना है, तो वो टेबल मल्टीपल रीजन्स में स्प्लिट हो जाती है. So you have a HBase table, say employee table, and you want to store it in a data node or in a region server, for example. So this HBase table splits into regions. This is region 1, this is region 2, this is region 3, like that. अब बात होती है कि regions में क्यों split हो रही है? It depends on the size of the data. So each region is of the size of 256 MB. 256 MB. So that's the size of the region. Like normally you have the block size, right? 64 MB, 128 MB इस तरह से. तो यहाँ पर हमारे पास रीजन्स होते हैं. तो मान लो अगर मेरे पास सिर्फ 256 MB का डेटा है तो एक ही रीजन बनेगा. So Gulzar, this is the region. This is the region. Okay. Now that means अगर मेरे पास एक टेबल है जो 256 से बड़ी है तो उस केस में आपके पास 2 रीजन बन जाएंगे. अगर वो 512 से बड़ी है तो मेरे पास 3 रीजन्स बन जाएंगे. तो ये मेरा एक रीजन है. मतलब ये सिर्फ इतने पार्ट को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है. एक टेबल के, एक HBase टेबल का एक रीजन इज दिस मच. तो दैट मीन्स दिस region server can have multiple regions. It can have 3 regions. तभी ये ellipses है यहाँ पे dot dot dot. Okay. Now we have to open this कि इस region के अंदर क्या होता है. तो this is what we are looking at. Region. Region के अंदर होती हैं H files. I told you, right? The actual data is stored in the form of H files. So even if this region is of 256 MB, ये 256 MB is further divided into small files which are H files. Okay, मान लो 50 MB की आपके पास 5 फाइल्स बन गई. तो ultimately the smallest unit of storage which we were talking yesterday is H file. Okay, so H file is the smallest unit of storage where your actual data is stored. Okay, but then the question is, what is this mem store, right? So now we have to understand it like this. If this is one region, so guys, let's see, I am just focusing on that particular region, R1, but this region will contain multiple column families, right? Getting it? For example, if this is your table will have this as the row key, and let's say this is first column family and this is second column family. Okay, if this is your edge based table, it will have a row key, it will have a column family, say personal data and professional data, two column families, right? So if I cut it horizontally, I will get region 1 and I will get region 2. Okay, but now when I am talking of the region 1 contains column family 1 and column family 2. And I told you कि column family का पर्पस ये है कि एक column family का डेटा एक फाइल में हो, दूसरी column family का डेटा अलग फाइल में हो. लेकिन मैं तो कह रहा हूं कि एक ही रीजन में दोनों कॉलम फैमिली पड़ी है. रीजन 1 में कॉलम फैमिली ये वाली भी पड़ी है, ये वाली भी पड़ी है, तो ऐसा कैसे? तो अब फर्दर इस रीजन के अंदर क्या होता है, इस रीजन के अंदर वी फर्दर हैव दी सेपरेट स्टोर्स, वी हैव सेपरेट स्टोर्स. which is being shown here, the stores. Okay, these stores, this is a column family, then I have the column family 2, right? So understand it like this is your table, it's split it into regions, but within each region you have separate column family. So this is one column family, this is another column family. So this column family is known as a store, so this is the store, and the another column family is this, so they are separate. So if you look at, this is separate and this is a separate store. This is the column family store. Okay, but now if this part represents this column family, right, this column family, so all the data for this column family will reside here. Okay, but within this store there can be multiple H files, there can be multiple H files, smaller H files, which you look at, smaller H files. So before I go into the detail, guys, is it making sense? आपके पास ये एक टेबल है, ओके, एज बेस्ड टेबल, तो वो उसको हॉरिजॉन्टली काट देते हैं. मान लो पहली 100 रोज ये हैं, अगली 100 रोज ये हैं, बट यहाँ पर पहली 100 रो या अगली 100 रो का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता. यहाँ होता है कि 256 MB का डेटा आ गया, चाहे पहली 100 रो ने लिया हो या कितनी ने भी लिया हो, तो वो आपका पहला रीजन बन गया, विच इज दिस. फिर ऐसे आपका एक नीचे दूसरा रीजन बन जाएगा. ओके, बट उस रीजन के अंदर क्या होगा, उस रीजन के अंदर आपकी रो की भी होगी और आपकी दो कॉलम फैमिली भी होंगी. तो पर कॉलम फैमिली फर्दर इसके अंदर स्टोर्स बनते हैं, स्टोर्स, स्टोर 1, स्टोर 2. अब यहाँ पे तीसरी कॉलम फैमिली नहीं है तो बस दो ही स्टोर बनेंगे. ओके, अब क्या होता है कि एक्चुअल जो डेटा एच फाइल में होता है वो होता है स्टोर के अंदर, मतलब इस स्टोर के अंदर सिर्फ और सिर्फ इस कॉलम फैमिली का ही डेटा होगा, लेकिन वो छोटी छोटी एच फाइल्स में स्प्लिट हो जाएगा. Getting it? Any doubt, any question? 9 question was same, the this point on the regions. Guys, are you getting this? Any question on this? सेम ही डायग्राम है ये आपका, मतलब आप इस वाले डायग्राम की और इस वाले डायग्राम की बात कर रहे हो गुलजार? दीज आर सेम डायग्राम
सर, पर जो एच मास्टर का जो एरो इंडिकेटिंग है इन दोनों के बीच में,
हाँ हाँ,
मतलब जो एरो इंडिकेटिंग है क्या वो रैंडमली इसकी तरफ जा रहा है, जो राइट साइड डायग्राम?
नहीं मतलब यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस these arrows, or you are talking about this one, you're talking about this one. So Gulzar, see what happens is whenever a client want to store any data in HBase, he first talks to Zookeeper. Zookeeper internally talks to HMaster. Client never talks directly to HMaster. He don't. And HMaster internally talks to the region servers. कि भाई किस रीजन सर्वर पे इस समय स्पेस अवेलेबल है, वहां पर मैं वो डेटा स्टोर कर दूं. ठीक है. तो कल को तुमने एक फाइल भेजी, तो जूकीपर से होती हुई एचमास्टर से होती हुई वो रीजन सर्वर पे जाके स्टोर हो जाएगी. लेकिन अब रीजन सर्वर क्या करेगा, उस फाइल के छोटे छोटे रीजन बना देगा. मान लो एक रीजन यहाँ पे पड़ा है, एक रीजन यहाँ पे पड़ा है. ठीक है. 256 MB के. बट विद इन ईच रीजन इट विल क्रिएट मल्टीपल स्टोर्स. बेस्ड ऑन कितनी कॉलम फैमिलीज है उतने स्टोर्स बना देगा. ठीक है. लेकिन अब जब डेटा राइट होता है ना रिस्टोर में, वो कभी भी एच फाइल में स्टोर नहीं होता. अदिति, टू योर क्वेश्चन, data is always stored in the mem store, memory. HBase uses memory, RAM. So the data whenever it is being written, it is directly written into the mem store. अगर आप कल को HBase में कोई डेटा लिखते हो, वो कभी भी H फाइल में नहीं जाता, वो मेम स्टोर में ही स्टोर्ड रहता है. लेकिन मेम स्टोर की अपनी एक लिमिट होती है. मान लो मेम स्टोर की लिमिट आपने रखी 100 MB, तो जैसे ही 100 MB फुल हो जाएगा, वो सारा का सारा डेटा फ्लश हो जाता है. कहाँ फ्लश हो जाता है? H फाइल में. ओके. तो अल्टीमेटली सबसे पहले डेटा आपका मेमोरी में रहता है. अब मेमोरी का साइज मान लो हमने 100 MB रखा, तो जैसे ही 100 MB फुल हो जाता है, तो वो सारा डेटा जितना भी था वो फ्लश हो जाता है और एक एच फाइल बन जाती है 100 MB की. ठीक है. डेटा फ्लश मतलब मेमोरी खाली हो जाती है और सारा डेटा फाइल में लिख दिया जाता है. फिर दोबारा से जो नया डेटा आता है वो फिर से मेमोरी में आता है और फिर से जैसे 100 MB भर जाता है तो वो नई एच फाइल बना देता है. तो ऐसे करते करते आपकी बहुत सारी छोटी छोटी एच फाइल्स बनती चली जाती है. ओके. बट इनिशियली डेटा मेमोरी में रखा जाता है और जैसे मेमोरी भरती जाती है तो वो डेटा मेम स्टोर से उठ के एच फाइल्स में चला जाता है, जो कि एक्चुअल फाइल्स होती हैं आपकी. स्टोर फाइल्स या एच फाइल्स कुछ भी कह लो उनको. यस अदिति, यू आर राइट. बिकॉज सी, एच फाइल का प्लेस क्या है? एच फाइल इज इनसाइड द स्टोर and one store is for one column family. So one H file is only specific to one column family. One H file cannot contain data from multiple column families. No. Okay. एक स्टोर के अंदर या इवन एक मेमोरी स्टोर के अंदर भी डेटा एक ही कॉलम फैमिली का रहता है. ओके. No, Aditi, mem store is specific to each store, na? See, for each store there is a separate mem store, and one store is for one column family. Getting it, Aditi? Whenever you are writing the data in a region will see कि कितनी कॉलम फैमिली है और उतने स्टोर्स बना देता है, और हर स्टोर के अंदर उस कॉलम फैमिली का डेटा उसके मेम स्टोर में रहता है. तो स्टोर तो एक लॉजिकल टर्म है, फिजिकली मेम स्टोर होता है. It's bit confusing for the first time, but it's easy. You have region server which will contain the entire data. in the form of smaller regions. Each region will contain multiple column families. One column family in one store, another column family in another store. अब उस कॉलम फैमिली का जितना भी डेटा है वो उसके मेम स्टोर में रहेगा और मेम स्टोर से वो फ्लश होता होता एच फाइल बनाता चला जाएगा. ओके, बट ये जो टोटल रीजन है वो 256 MB का ही हो सकता है. अब उसमें हो सकता है कि ये 200 MB ले रहा है, ये 56 MB ले रहा है. समझ रहे हो? गोमिनी, करण, वर्षा, विपुल, परफेक्ट नितिका. ओके ओके. So I'm again telling you that, see, this is your table. Okay, this is your row key, and these are two column families. तो जो सारा खेल है वो है कॉलम फैमिलीज का. मैंने आपको बोला था ना कि कॉलम फैमिली स्टोरेज का मतलब है कि एक कॉलम फैमिली का डेटा एक जगह पड़ा रहेगा, दूसरा कॉलम फैमिली का डेटा दूसरी जगह पड़ा रहेगा. ये तो बड़ा ही लेमैन भाषा में हमने बात की थी ना, लेकिन असलियत में क्या होता है? तो शुरुआत में ऐसा नहीं होता कि एक कॉलम फैमिली का डेटा अलग दूसरी का अलग. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. पहले डेटा रीजन्स में स्प्लिट होता है. तो अगर ये आपका एक रीजन है और ये आपका दूसरा रीजन है, तो वन रीजन कैन कंटेन डेटा फ्रॉम मल्टीपल कॉलम फैमिलीज, फ्रॉम दिस कॉलम फैमिली ऑल्सो, फ्रॉम दिस कॉलम फैमिली ऑल्सो. बट रीजन के अंदर क्या होता है? रीजन के अंदर स्टोर्स बन जाते हैं. एक स्टोर मान लो S1, दूसरा स्टोर S2. S1 के अंदर सिर्फ इस कॉलम फैमिली का डेटा होगा और इस वाली कॉलम फैमिली का डेटा स्टोर 2 में होगा. तो अगर ये मेरा रीजन है, उसमें ये एक स्टोर बन गया विच इज फॉर वन कॉलम फैमिली, ये एक स्टोर बन गया विच इज फॉर अनदर कॉलम फैमिली. दैट्स इट. तो ये हायरार्की याद रखो. रीजन सर्वर, रीजन एंड स्टोर, दैट्स इट. रीजन सर्वर, रीजन एंड स्टोर, दैट्स इट. अब हम निटिग्रिटी में और नीचे जाएंगे तो अब बात होती है कि अब ये जो कॉलम फैमिली है इसका डेटा एक्चुअल में कहां स्टोर होता है? मेम स्टोर में, विच इज मेमोरी स्टोर. ओके, लेकिन जब ये भरना शुरू होता है तो एक्चुअल फाइल्स बनती हैं, ये फिजिकल फाइल्स हैं. जब तक मान लो 99 MB भी अगर है और मैंने मेम स्टोर 100 MB का दिया है तो आपकी एच फाइल नहीं बनेगी. ठीक है, तो मेम स्टोर में सबसे पहले आपका डेटा राइट होता है और फिर वो फ्लश होता है एच फाइल्स में. डायरेक्टली कभी भी एच फाइल में डेटा राइट नहीं किया जाता. ओके, तो वन रीजन सर्वर कंटेन मल्टीपल रीजन्स, वन रीजन कंटेन मल्टीपल स्टोर्स, वन स्टोर कंटेन मल्टीपल एच फाइल्स. ओके, कैन एनीवन ऑफ यू टेल मी, वन सेकेंड आदिति, कैन एनीवन टेल मी कि एक रीजन के अंदर, एक एच रीजन में कितने स्टोर्स होंगे? वो कैसे पता लगता है? एक एच रीजन में कितने स्टोर्स होंगे ये कैसे पता लगेगा? वन रीजन कंटेन्स हाउ मेनी स्टोर्स, ये हम कैसे पता लगा सकते हैं? वेरी गुड राहुल, या नितिका, यस यस यस, ऑल ऑफ यू आर करेक्ट. तो एक रीजन के अंदर कितने स्टोर होंगे? दैट इज डायरेक्टली इक्वल टू द नंबर ऑफ कॉलम फैमिलीज. अच्छा, अब कोई मुझे ये बता सकता है कि एक रीजन सर्वर में कितने रीजन्स होंगे? एक रीजन सर्वर में कितने रीजन्स होंगे ये कैसे डिसाइड किया जा सकता है? एक रीजन सर्वर में कितने रीजन्स होंगे विपुल? मेमोरी साइज कहां से आ गया? It depends on the size of the table. Very good Nitika. It depends on two things, number of tables and size of tables. तो अगर मैं एक टेबल की बात करूं तो एक टेबल के 10 रीजन्स भी हो सकते हैं अगर वो 256 नहीं 2560 MB की अगर है. अगर 2560 MB की कोई टेबल है तो उसके 10 रीजन्स बन जाएंगे, राइट? लेकिन अब मान लो ऐसी ऐसी मेरे पास 5 टेबल है तो मेरे पास 50 रीजन्स बन जाएंगे टोटल. समझ रहे हो सब? तो regions depend on number of tables plus size of each table. ओके विपुल, मेमोरी साइज की अभी वहां बात नहीं आएगी, ठीक है? इट्स ऑन द डेटा साइज जो हमने कल पुट कमांड से पुट किया था, रोज इन अ टेबल. ओके, one region server can have each region from different tables. Absolutely, Gomini. Very good point, because what is a region server, Gomini? A region server is a data node, right? You cannot reserve the data node for table कि ये data node इस table की, वो उसकी, right? तो one data node can have data for different tables, right? But they will be different. Like हर किसी टेबल के रीजन्स अलग अलग होंगे, ओवरलैप नहीं करेंगे वो. हर किसी का डेटा अपना अलग अलग पड़ा होगा एक ही रीजन सर्वर में. या राहुल, गुड पॉइंट. आई कम टू दैट. ओके गाइस, तो अभी तक इतना क्लियर है हमें कि भाई देखो, अच्छा दूसरी बात, कोई मुझे बताएगा नंबर ऑफ रीजन सर्वर्स कितने होंगे एक एज बेस आर्किटेक्चर में? नंबर ऑफ रीजन सर्वर्स कैसे डिसाइड होंगे? हाउ मेनी रीजन सर्वर्स कैन आई हैव? एनीवन? Number of region servers equals to yeah, Nitika, the number of data nodes. It's the cluster size, right? The number of region servers is equal to the number of data nodes, or say cluster size. But ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है नितिका कि सारी डेटा नोड्स पे एज बेस चल रहा हो. मान लो आपके पास 100 डेटा नोड है, लेकिन उनमें से सिर्फ 50 पे ही एज बेस चल रहा है. ऐसा हो सकता है. योर आंसर इज राइट, बट यू गॉट माई पॉइंट. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं होता है कि अगर मेरे पास 100 डेटा नोड है तो मैं 100 के 100 पे एज बेस चलाऊं. हो सकता है कि हाइव तो 100 की 100 पे चल रहा है, लेकिन एज बेस सिर्फ 90 पे चल रहा है, 10 पे नहीं चला रखा मैंने. दैट इज वेरी वेल पॉसिबल. ओके नितिका, गेटिंग इट? ओके ओके, तो हमें पता लग गया कि भैया नंबर ऑफ रीजन सर्वर्स कितने होंगे, नंबर ऑफ एच रीजन्स कितने होते हैं, स्टोर्स कितने होते हैं, और इवन एच फाइल्स कितनी होती हैं. ये सब कैसे डिसाइड होता है, ठीक है? अब एच फाइल कितनी होती है वो पूरा पूरा डिपेंड करता है कि भाई आपका वो कॉलम फैमिली कितनी बड़ी है, और आपने मेम स्टोर का फ्लशिंग थ्रेशोल्ड क्या रखा हुआ है कि कितने एमबी के बाद वो फ्लश करके एच फाइल बना दे. ये सब कॉन्फ़िगरेबल होता है. अच्छा, कोई मुझे ये बता सकता है कि एच फाइल का साइज 256 एमबी से बड़ा हो सकता है क्या? एक एच फाइल का साइज 256 एमबी से बड़ा हो सकता है? या गोमिनी आदिति सेज नो. एनीवन एल्स? नहीं नहीं, मैं एच फाइल पूछ रहा हूँ गुलजार. तो एच रीजन, जो रीजन होता है आपका, वो 256 एमबी का होता है, ठीक है? वो उससे बड़ा नहीं होता. तो एच फाइल्स तो डेफिनेटली उससे छोटी ही होंगी. ओके, yes Nishta, all of these can be customized. You can increase even these values, like in Hadoop, block size could have been configured to be more than 64 MB, right? अच्छा, तो अब हम चलते हैं थोड़ा और आगे इसको समझने के लिए. ये अभी ये कंपोनेंट रह गया hlog. What is this, right? So say this client, he wanted to put some data in a HBase table. So client came to Zookeeper. Yes, I'm coming to that. So this client, even there is one level of more complexity, Aditi, to that. And yeah, Rahul, to your question also. A client is coming, and he's coming to Zookeeper, okay? And Zookeeper will talk to HMaster because he wants to write data Okay, he wants to write data and to a particular table. So now HMaster knows that, okay, what is the location of this table? By location, I means what is the location of the region. So a client wants to write some data in this table and say it currently has only one region because it's a small table. And HMaster know, okay, this is the region, okay, where you want to write the data. So data is never written directly even into the mem store. I told you, right, the data should be written into the mem store, right, before it goes to H file, right? But even that is not what happens. What happens is your data is first written inside the log file, hlog, which is HBase log file. This is also known as WAL. Very, very important concept in the field of distributed programming. Anyone knows WAL full form? In the world of distributed storage and distributed processing, WAL is very important. This is known as write ahead log. Write ahead log मतलब कभी भी आपका जो एक्चुअल डेटा है वो मेन प्लेस पे राइट नहीं होगा, वो पहले आपके एक वैल में या एच लॉग में स्टोर होगा. वैल इज अ वेरी जेनरिक कॉन्सेप्ट. हियर वैल इज नोन एज एच लॉग, बट एच लॉग इज नथिंग बट अ राइट हेड लॉग. अब ऐसा किया क्यों जाता है? देखो, ये जो सिस्टम्स होते हैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रोसेसिंग के, ये वल्नरेबल टू फेलियर होते हैं. मींस एनी ऑफ दीज रीजन सर्वर कैन गो डाउन at any moment of time. So say you are writing some information and that information, Aditi, so you are writing some data inside this val and system failed. Okay, system failed, crashed. So next time it will ask you to rewrite the data. Okay, it will ask you to rewrite the data because your राइट अहेड लॉग का मतलब क्या है? राइट अहेड, एक्चुअल जगह पे लिखने से पहले यहां पे लिखो. राइट अहेड लॉग मतलब एक्चुअल राइट करने से अहेड ही आप इसमें डेटा अपना इंसर्ट करोगे. और अगर उस समय सिस्टम क्रैश हो गया तो जो सोर्स है उससे आप कहोगे मुझे दोबारा से डेटा भेज. ठीक है, लेकिन हम मान लेते हैं कि डेटा इसमें तो चला गया था, लेकिन जब इसमें सक्सेसफुल चला जाता है उसके बाद वो डेटा एक्चुअली यहाँ पे राइट होना शुरू होता है मेम स्टोर में. अब जब यहां से वो डेटा यहां राइट हो रहा था, उस टाइम पे अगर सिस्टम क्रैश हो गया तो हमें वापस सोर्स से डेटा मांगने की जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि हमारे पास वैल में डेटा है. तो व्हेन वी रीस्टार्ट दिस मशीन, द मेम स्टोर कैन बी रिफ्रेश्ड विद द हेल्प ऑफ एचलॉग. बट कंसिडर दैट यू वर स्किपिंग द वैल and you say no, I will directly write into the main place which is mem store, and consider that during that time system crashes. You will lose the state, the current state of the mem store. Say it was updating something, half data was written, half was not written, and it's very difficult for mem store to keep track of what was written, what is not, because mem store is not meant for it. It's a very specific system which is for the faster data writes, because read writes to RAMs are faster as compared to disks, right? तो आपको समझ आ रहा है वैल का कॉन्सेप्ट? वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन HBase. So whenever you are writing, so the Gomini, this is for your access pattern, right? You are asking access pattern. So this is write pattern, then there will be read pattern. So this is ये इंटरव्यू में पूछ लेते हैं कि can you explain the write access pattern in HBase. So whenever you want to write, you will first write it into the val. From val it will be written into the mem store, and when mem store flushes it creates H files. So let's say you created that H log of say 200 MB, okay, but your mem store flush threshold is 20 MB. So it write 20 MB here and flushes it. It write another 20 MB here, flushes it. Can anyone tell me how many H files I'll get? for 200 MB data, how many H files will I get? If my threshold is 20 MB? Guys, that's a very simple thing. Huh? No rocket science. 10, right? So that means your H files are actually very small. H files are actually very small. They are even like 30-50 MB size. Okay. And that's the actual place where your data read, write, updates and all happens. So that's the actual unit of storage, which actually corresponds to your blocks, data blocks in data nodes. Okay. That's fine, Gulzar. I'll come to that again later. So guys, you understood, right? So write access pattern, you first write the data into the val. From the val, it goes to the mem store. When the mem store flushes, you create H files. Okay. So you keep the data in the mem store initially, and then you keep flushing it. You don't directly flushes it into the H files. Okay. Uh, anyone, any doubt? Gulzar, I was just asking the working of the H log and the mem store. Okay. Now that was one part to it. Now I'll go into the second part, which is the read access pattern. So this was the write pattern. Now what is the read pattern? Now say this client came to Zookeeper and say that, okay, there is a table employee. I want to see the data. So what will happen? Your H master will look into what? There is a metadata table. Meta. H master will look into the meta table. For the employee table, it will look for what? The region server and the region. Remember yesterday we saw these two things. भाई आपको अगर एम्प्लॉय टेबल का डेटा रीड करना है तो उसके लिए दो चीजें चाहिए कि ये टेबल एक तो किस डेटा नोड पे है और उसमें भी किस रीजन में है, और यही कल हमने देखा था गाइस. यस और नो? डू यू रिमेम्बर? मेटा टेबल में कल मैंने आपको जो डेटा दिखाया था फॉर द एम्प्लॉय टेबल ओनली, आई टोल्ड यू टू थिंग्स ओनली देयर. Though there were three properties, one was some offset also, but these were the two things, right? So this is what the read pattern. So H master looks into the meta table and it finally identifies the region, and once you are inside the region, you have to simply show him all the data, whichever data he wants to see. But now the question is, from where will he read the data? Can anyone tell me? When you are reading the data, from where will you read it? So there are two options, mem store and H file, right? Mem store and H file, there are two places, right? What do you think, guys? From where a user will read the data? I want to see all the data. I want to see all the data for the employee table. I want to see all, listen to my question. I want to see all the data. Mem store does not contain all data. Mem store only contain the latest threshold data. Say latest data which was recently written. Mem store contains the data which was recently written in the table. It does not contain the full data. So where is the full data? It's okay. Nitika goes one level deeper, which is hlog. Very good. It's H files, Nitika, but see, even H logs have a capacity. H logs भी अपने आप को खाली करते रहते हैं एक particular interval के बाद, because you cannot keep a huge amount of log. Otherwise, vals are also a good option to read the data, but they also keep flush, मतलब truncate themselves. Okay, so the actual data is inside the H file. Yes, Gulzar. So H files is the actual place from where your data is read. Memstore does not play a role in reading the data. But now the question is, reading data from the H file is very slow because H files are stored on disk. Okay, Gomini, I'm coming to that. Gomini. Yeah. So the point is, I'm saying reading data from H files every time. Say there are 10 users and each of them are reading the same table, but they keep reading the H files again and again is a very slow operation. So what we do is we have something known as block cache. So yesterday, Gulzar, you were asking something like block cache in the properties, right? When we described the column family, you were asking what is this block cache. So now the block cache will come into picture. So guys, what happens is there is another memory which is not shown in this diagram. Parallel to memstore, there is a block cache. अब मान लो कि one person, he read the employee table for the first time. So whatever data he will read, it will come into the block cache. Okay. Now tomorrow, another user also wants to read the same table. So he will get the data from the block cache first, instead of reading it from the H file. Okay. If he requests for the same data. So the recently accessed data is stored in the block cache. और ये कॉन्सेप्ट डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड वर्ल्ड का कॉन्सेप्ट है गाइस, इसका एचबेस से भी कोई लेना देना नहीं है, मैं आपको बता दूं. मतलब ये एक बहुत ही स्टैंडर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट है जो आपको बहुत ज्यादा मिलेगा. ब्लॉक कैशे, मेम स्टोर, डिस्क फाइल्स, नाम अलग अलग हो जाएंगे बस, और कुछ नहीं. तो block cache is like the name of the, it's like caching a block of data which is recently used. अब नाउ मान लो कि कुछ डेटा ऐसा था जो आपने यहाँ कैशे करके रखा. अब होता क्या है कि अगर उस डेटा को फिर से किसी ने एक्सेस किया तो इसका टाइम स्टैम्प बढ़ता चला जाता है, मतलब लेटेस्ट टाइम उसके साथ अटैच होता चला जाता है. लेकिन इसके अंदर कुछ ऐसा डेटा है जो लोग एक्सेस ही नहीं कर रहे, तो वो पुराना होता चला जाता है. तो जो डेटा पुराना हो जाता है वो कैशे में से खाली होता चला जाता है. कैशिंग का मतलब होता है रैम में डेटा स्टोर करना. गुलजार, डिस्क के डेटा को रैम में स्टोर करना इज कैशिंग. ओके. Some people talk about cache as separate memory also other than RAM, but standard is caching is moving data from disk into the RAM. Okay, but there are separate caches also. Cache is even more costly than RAM. Okay, but don't go into that. So moving data from disk into RAM is caching. So memstore, block cache, they are all RAM, and RAM is always costly. You cannot store GBs of data in caches. Okay. If you want to store GBs of data in cache, you have to use key value databases like Redis and React. Okay. वो इसी काम के लिए बने. यहाँ पर हम थोड़ा सा ही डेटा मेमोरी में रखते हैं, बाकी सारा हम डिस्क में रखते हैं कॉलम फैमिली सिस्टम्स में. ठीक है, और यहाँ पे ये वैल का कोई रोल नहीं होता. तो गाइज, यू अंडरस्टूड द रीड पैटर्न एंड द राइट पैटर्न. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, the write pattern and the read pattern. So let's see certain properties related to this. No, 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 Vipul. Okay, okay, very good, very good. So देखो, म, मान लो आप एक टेबल है, एम्प्लॉय टेबल, जिसके अंदर कंट्री इंडिया का डेटा है, अमेरिका का भी है, जर्मनी का भी है, ठीक है। अब इंडिया का डेटा आपने, मतलब गुलजार ने भी एक्सेस किया, देन Aditi also accessed it, Karan also accessed it. So that means this data is being accessed by a lot of people, right? So what you will do, you make your system smart to store this data in the cache, block cache, so that tomorrow if someone comes with the same filter condition that I want the data for India, you, instead of reading from the disk, you read it from the block cache. Okay, so you want to save the time. But in the mem store, Vipul, you don't have data in this logic. Mem store only contains the last written data, the last data which was written into the system. It has no correlation कि वो डेटा कितना frequently access किया जा रहा है. Getting it, Vipul? जो लास्ट रिकॉर्ड आपने लिखा वो आपका मेम स्टोर में जा रहा है और वो अभी तक फ्लश नहीं हुआ है. लेकिन जो डेटा लोग एक्सेस कर रहे हैं सिलेक्ट क्वेरी से, स्कैन गेट करके, वो डेटा अगर बहुत फ्रीक्वेंट है तो वो आपके कैशे में जा रहा है, राइट? So there is a very huge difference between the mem store and the block cache, and this will be asked even in interviews कि जब हमारे पास mem store है तो हम block cache क्यों यूज कर रहे हैं, क्या ये दो अलग अलग रैम, स्पेशलाइज्ड रैम को क्यों यूज किया जा रहा है? तो there is a concept behind it. Like mem store is writing into the h file and h files are writing into the block cache. Okay, people? Okay, guys. So with that, we are clear with the, अब ये internally data is stored into the blocks and data nodes, that's fine. We understood how Zuki, this thing works, like HBase works. So let's go into the hands-on. So guys, please open the HBase again. So now whenever you will work on HBase, you have to remember that HBase is very complex architecture where you have region servers, regions, stores, block caches, mem stores, H files. That's it. And H files is the smallest unit of storage, which is directly associated with the data blocks in HDFS. Now, so far we have started the HBase shell, and within that we were able to create a table with certain column families, describe it. So guys, you can describe जो भी table आपने कल बनाया था and see उसके अंदर block cache की क्या property set है, आपने caching enabled कर भी रखी है या नहीं, right? You have to enable the caching. If you don't enable the caching, it will always read from the H files. Okay, you have to enable the caching. So guys, any issues so far, like while working on HBase, like किसी का भी zookeeper वाला issue pending है क्या? या all of you are able to start it? Guys, please create a table, describe it, and let me know if you are able to see the block caching is enabled or disabled, and what is the size of the block cache. Please ping me. Okay, Gomini. Okay. Guys, anyone else who is getting the zookeeper error? You know why you are getting the zookeeper error? Because zookeeper sometimes it lose the connection with the edge base, because there is only one edge base master you have. You don't have three edge base masters. A zookeeper needs a quorum of 3 machines minimum to make your system up and running. If you don't have it, you will get it. The solution for that is, Gomini, run that command. If that runs, start -hbase.sh. Just see if that command works. Start -hbase.sh. वो sh है, sorry. So please just try it. But you won't be able to run it because you don't know where this file is located. Okay, Gomini. तो आपको पहले ये फाइल ढूंढनी पड़ेगी. You have to search this file using this command locate. जहां पर ये फाइल है उस पाथ पे जाकर ही आप इस फाइल को रन कर पाओगे. Okay, Gomini. So you have to first locate this file, go to that path and run this. Execute this command. Start hbase.sh वाला. और start hbase.sh की उसको आप रन कैसे करोगे? कोई भी शेल स्क्रिप्ट को रन करने का ये तरीका होता है. कोई भी फाइल जो .sh टाइप की होती है उसको एग्जीक्यूट करने का तरीका होता है sh स्पेस उस फाइल का नाम. So first you will locate this file and at that path you will execute this file using sh space start -hbase.sh. Okay. Okay, Vipul, block cache is true, but okay, very good. What is the size of the block cache by default in MBs? 655. That's 65 MB. 64 MB. That's 64 MB. You can definitely change this value. So Hadoop में most of the work you do using the edge-based shell only, or any different shell only, like edge-based shell, Hive shell, Impala shell, okay, or even like for Python also you can write the programs here only. Edge-based stores its data also in the HDFS. These H files, like the smallest unit, the H files are actually stored in the form of blocks. Okay, the H files are also stored in the form of the blocks on the HDFS. Okay, so you will say list command and you will see the tables. We have employee table. So I will say, okay, let's describe the employee table. So when I describe the employee table, so in the employee table, you have like, first of all, how many column families you have. So this is the first column family, this is the second column family. That means you will have regions, but within regions, you will have stores. So you within each region, how many stores? Two stores. One for this, one for this. Okay. And each store will have its own mem store and block cache. So you will see block cache is true, and the size is 64 MB, the block size. If you want to change these properties, you can definitely change them as well. So let's try to alter these properties. For example, like we have we talked about the TTL yesterday. We talked about the keep deleted cells and versions. So let me change the version from 1 to say 2. So that means for any table you can change its property, but at the column family level. So if there is a table which contains multiple column family, you cannot change the property for all the column families at once. आपको एक एक करके करना पड़ेगा, मतलब इस कॉलम फैमिली को अलग से चेंज करना पड़ेगा, इसको अलग से. So let me copy this. So I'm saying, okay, alter the employee table, comma, okay. So guys, this is how you have to do it. If there is a table that you want to alter, you will say, okay, alter the table, which is the table employee. And now again, within the curly braces, you need to give the preferences. Column family name, personal data, how many versions you want to keep. So by default, it's 1. I'll say, let's keep 3 versions. Okay. So I'll keep 3 versions. See, updating all the regions with the new schema. There is only one region and that's updated. So it's not updating the region server, it's updating the region. And there is only one region. That means this is not huge. This table is not huge. 256 MB के अंडर ही है इसका साइज. अदरवाइज मल्टीपल रीजन्स होते. यहाँ एक ही रीजन है. Okay. And whenever you update the metadata, all the regions needs to be updated because that's where the actual data is stored, right? So they needs to know the configuration changes. So now if you see here, the versions are 3, but here the versions are still 1. So you can have one column family with different properties, another column family with different properties. That's fine because this is a column family database. Here the column families are like different subtables. Like you have a bigger table which contains smaller subtables. Because in HBase there are no concept of joins. You don't have say 2 tables and you join them. No. If you want to do that, you actually achieve it with the help of column families. Within one big table, create multiple column families. It's like join. You cannot join the tables. For that matter, most of the NoSQL databases, they ask you not to use joins because joins is the costliest operation, which takes the most of the memory and the resources and the time in RDBMS. So they want to avoid it. NoSQL want to avoid joins by making your schema as quite complex and nested schema. Okay. So these are like 2 separate subtables, you can say, academics and personal data, and they are like joined together in one single table. So that's the beauty of the schema in NoSQL world. It's not that straightforward. Okay. So guys, please alter the table that you have. Copy this. So are the joins avoided in NoSQL and used in? Yes, Gulzar. Joins are not to be used in the NoSQL. Few NoSQL databases allow joins, but that's not recommended. निष्ठा 2 रीजन्स की क्यों बात कर रहे हो आप? It's saying 0 out of 1 updated, 1 out of 1 updated. It's not like 0, 1, 2, 3. It's not like indexing. It's saying out of this much, how many are updated? 1 out of 1 is updated. Getting it, Nishtha? Nishtha, any doubt? Gulzar, are you clear?
Yes.
Okay, guys, anyone who is facing issues, or like, are you able to run this command? Okay. So now we have created a table with multiple column families, seen their properties. We are able to update the properties. Now let's see what is the benefit of doing this. Now for this particular column family, I have 3 versions, right? And now I want to see, say, older versions for this. So let's see how I can do that. Normally what I do, I say, okay, let's scan the table, copy this, paste it. I scan it and I get that, okay, for this row, there are 2 columns, age and gender, but for this particular person, I only have his age, right? First of all, this is the dynamic schema, guys. For this person, I have 2 columns, age and gender, but for the another, I only have age. That's the good thing about HBase. जरूरी नहीं है कि सबके सबको सेम कॉलम्स हो, किसी को कम किसी को ज्यादा हो सकता है. And I know the timestamp associated with each of these values. Now let me do one thing. Let me update the data. I want to update the age for this person from say 30 to 31. I want to update his age. So there is nothing. You can simply use put command. You can say, okay, put in this table. Yeah. So I'm saying put inside the employee table for this particular row key. Personal data, age, as say $31. Okay. So that's done. Now let me scan it. So guys, what happened is using put itself, I am updating the older value. So the older value is updated so easily. There is a very complex mechanism. And here the value is updated. So you can use put command to update the values. But now see the difference. Timestamp here and timestamp here. ये कल का timestamp है, epoch time, ये आज का time. Okay. So now I want to see the older value for this particular person. Okay. And for this particular column. How I can do that? I can say, okay, scan. And then as we did yesterday, there was one thing like limit. Yesterday we saw this limit as say 1. And remember, so these are attributes, right? So these are attributes. So here I need to pass certain attributes. Limit was one of the attribute to filter the records. Let's see what's the another attribute I have to use here. Versions. You're getting it, guys? Versions, I am saying 3. So for every column, or for rather every cell, I want to see the last 3 values. Okay. So here, if you see, for this particular column, for this particular row, I have the same column age, but with 2 different values, 31 and 30. This is the older, this is the newer time, and this is the older time. This is 854, this is 862, this is the newer time. Okay. You can put any random value here, but it will show you whatever the last. तुम अगर बोलते हो मुझे last 30 values दो, it will not give you the last 30 values because it can only store the last 3 values. तो error नहीं आएगी कभी भी. Remember this. Whenever you ask for the last 30 values for each cell, error नहीं आएगा. वो आपको इस कॉलम फैमिली के हर सेल के लास्ट 3 वैल्यूज दे देगा, इसके एक एक दे देगा, कोई एरर नहीं आएगा. So these are your certain flags or attributes which can be used with scan also, which can be used with get also. Versions, the last few versions you want to see. Okay. Similarly, you have a get query also. But for get query, you always need to get query का point क्या है कि आपको specific, सिर्फ और सिर्फ specific रो की का ही डेटा चाहिए. क्या हुआ? Okay, I'll tell you that. गेट और स्कैन में यही फर्क है कि स्कैन आपको पूरे टेबल का डेटा दे देता है, लेकिन गेट आपको सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर रो की का ही डेटा देता है हमेशा, वन एंड ओनली वन रो की. ओके. बट यहां पर भी हम वर्जन वाला क्लॉज यूज कर सकते हैं. ये देख रहे हो आप यहाँ पे ये अलग अलग एट्रीब्यूट्स हैं जो आप यूज कर सकते हो, अलग अलग एट्रीब्यूट्स. इवन यू कैन यूज फिल्टर कंडीशंस. जैसे मैं बता रहा था, वेयर वैल्यू इज ग्रेटर देन 30 और वैल्यू इज लाइक मेल और फीमेल, so there are like value filters. The versions that we just saw last, how many versions we want. Paste. Okay, I'm getting an error with this. Here is something, this pass the table name. It's saying, okay, pass the table name. Okay. Passed the row key. I'm passing it. Passed the optionally a dictionary of columns. Okay, this is a dictionary. हाँ, मतलब ये curly braces में जो है key value pair है ना. This is a key and this is a value. So जो हमने dictionary Python में जैसे पढ़ा था. So this is like a dictionary with key value, key value, key value. So different keys can be like columns, timestamp, time range, versions, all these things. So it's like a dictionary of key value, key value, key value, like that it's going. It's not running for versions. Why? Okay, okay. So there is one more thing with the get is like when you are using the get command, okay, when you are using the get command, you have to give the row key, right? Uh, but whenever you want to specify more attributes, which are the column level attributes, you have to pass on the column name as well. So I was saying, okay, versions 30, but get is not that intelligent. Like scan, it's not that intelligent. It asks you, okay, for which column, like for this row, for which column you want to see these many versions, like last 30 versions. You have to specify that column as well, because this is what the error was. If you look at, it needs that column actually, always. You don't need to pass this for scan, but you need to pass this for get. So I'm giving you these commands. Please practice them and let me know if any of these is not making some sense to you. So Vipul, it's like you automatically know that this timestamp is older because it's ये तो एक नंबर है जो बढ़ता जा रहा है हर रोज. तो 854 समथिंग था, अब 862, तो मतलब ये वाला नया डेट है, राइट? बट यस, जो ऊपर है वो लेटेस्ट है और नीचे वो पुराने 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 आते चले जाते हैं. Guys, practice this scan thing and the get thing. Epoch is like that only, Gulzar. Epoch, it's like number of seconds I told you, right? Sorry, number of seconds that have passed since a particular date.
और एक्सक्यूज मी सर, सर एक बार जो फिल्टर में जो ग्रेटर देन का कमांड एक बार वो फिर समझा दो.
अभी मैंने वो बताया ही नहीं ना.
अच्छा, पर भाई आपने लिमिट ग्रेटर देन डालने का कुछ कहा था फिल्टर में अभी.
ओके ओके ओके. तो देखो गुलजार, ये ना कुछ इक्वल टू ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू का सिंबल नहीं है, ये एरो है. मतलब नॉर्मली आप इक्वल टू जो लिखते हो एचबीएस उसको समझता नहीं है. तो यहाँ पर वर्जन्स इक्वल टू 3, ये जो सिंबल है ये इक्वल टू का सिंबल है, मतलब ये एक एरो है. इसको ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू मत समझो. सो लिमिट इक्वल्स टू 1, इट डज नॉट मीन्स लिमिट ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 1. ये एरो है, इसका मतलब एक्चुअल में असाइनमेंट ऑपरेटर है. ओके, ये कोई एरो नहीं है, ये कोई ग्रेटर देन लेस देन नहीं है. दिस इज एक्चुअली लाइक यू यूज डबल इक्वल टू. इट्स लाइक डबल इक्वल टू और इक्वल टू, लिमिट इक्वल टू 1. ठीक है, तो दिस इज जस्ट अ एरो सिंबल टू असाइन दैट वैल्यू. वो एज बेस इक्वल टू को समझता नहीं है इसलिए. तो अब देखो, आप लोगों को जब काम करना होगा मान लो एच बेस पे, तो आपको बोला जाएगा कि भाई ये डेटा एच बेस में पड़ा है, जरा इसके ऊपर एनालिसिस कर लो. तो आप एच बेस में आप कुछ वो नहीं कर सकते, ग्रुप बाय एच बेस में जॉइंस नहीं कर सकते, ग्रुप बाय नहीं कर सकते, एग्रीगेट क्वेरी नहीं चला सकते, कुछ नहीं चला सकते आप. एच बेस इज जस्ट मेंट टू स्टोर द डेटा एंड रिट्रीव द डेटा, एंड मोर इम्पोर्टेंट इट इज फॉर अपडेट्स एंड डिलीट्स. दैट्स इट. इट्स नॉट दैट कि आप यहाँ बैठ के देख रहे हो टेल मी ऑल दोज एम्प्लॉइज हु सैलरी. नहीं, टेल मी द टोटल सैलरी इन अ पर्टिकुलर डिपार्टमेंट. You want to do the aggregation, you cannot do all those things. Here you can only see the data which is already stored. You see the top few records, you can the older or the newer data. You can use that command to see the data for a particular row if you already know the row key. Okay, so this is the kind of access you may need to HBase, not like very fancy complex data processing logic. HBase and all these systems are not meant for analytics. Okay. So HBase is not meant for running any aggregate queries or group by queries or anything like that. At max, you can do filters like, okay, tell me all those employees whose age is greater than some value or whose gender is female. So let's see that. We will not go into the detail of the filters because there are at least 10 different kind of filters in HBase. We will talk about value filters. Value filters means the filters applied on the values, like where value is greater than 30, 31, male, female. So we will talk about value filters. There are multiple different other kinds of filters also. Okay, Gulzar. Okay, yeah, that's I'm going to tell. So if you look at here, guys, this is the command. Filter, which kind of filter? Value filter. यहाँ पर ये वैल्यू चेंज हो जाती है अलग अलग तरह के फिल्टर्स के लिए. You want to apply the value filter, and then you want to apply the value filter where value should be equal to ABC. I'm just telling you that random thing here, but there are various different kind of edge-based filters. Let me open the browser first. So just a second, browser is opening. You guys can meanwhile just Google types of filters in HBase. There is some network issue, I think, but that's fine. Leave it. Oh, okay, guys. So we used list to see the table. Let's do the scan of this. Okay. But now while doing scan, I want to see only those people whose age is say greater than 30. Show me those people whose age is greater than 30. Now you will see that for this person, the latest age is 31 and his older age was 30. But older age से हमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है, वो एक तरह से लॉस्ट हो चुका है. आप चाहो तो वो डेटा रिट्रीव कर सकते हो वर्जनिंग यूज करके, बट जो ओल्डर वैल्यू है वो आपको बाय डिफॉल्ट कभी दिखेगी नहीं. तो अगर मैं यहाँ फिल्टर लगाऊंगा शो मी ऑल दोस पीपल हुज एज इज ग्रेटर देन 30, तो आई शुड ओनली गेट दिस वैल्यू, नॉट इवन दिस. ओके. और इफ आई से शो मी दोस पीपल हुज एज इज इक्वल टू 30, आई विल ओनली गेट दिस, नॉट दिस. इसकी पुरानी एज 30 थी, बट उससे मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है, मुझे उसकी नई एज जो लेटेस्ट है उससे मतलब है. तो व्हाट आई नीड टू डू इज सिंपल, सब कुछ वही है, बहुत आसान है. रूल ऑफ थंब क्या है, स्कैन के अंदर, स्कैन जब भी आप चला रहे हो आप डायरेक्ट फिल्टर्स मतलब डायरेक्ट अपने की वैल्यू एट्रीब्यूट्स पास कर सकते हो, जबकि गेट के केस में आपको रो की और कॉलम का नाम दोनों देना पड़ता है. यहां पर ऐसा नहीं है. तो अब हमें यहाँ पे क्या करना है गाइस, हमें यहाँ फिल्टर लगाना है. फिल्टर ये सिंगल कोट्स में नहीं आते, ये हमारे रिजर्व्ड वर्ड्स हैं. जैसे स्कैन और गेट वैसे ही फिल्टर वगैरह रिजर्व्ड वर्ड्स हैं, इनको सिंगल कोट्स में नहीं डालते. बाकी सब चीजों को आपको सिंगल कोट्स में डालना. ठीक है, रिजर्व वर्ड्स को सिंगल कोट्स में नहीं डालना, बाकी सबको डालना है. अब किस तरह का फिल्टर है मेरा, it's a value filter because I am applying the filter on the values, right? On the values. You can have filters for the timestamps. That means you want to see only that data which is older than a particular date. You can put filters at the column level, like show me all those columns whose name is age. You like select star जैसे करते हो, select age. Show me all those records where row key is like greater than a particular value. तो इस तरह से अलग अलग तरह के फिल्टर्स होते हैं हमारे पास, but the most important one are the value filters. You want to put filters on the values. Okay, so this is your value filter. This is how you apply the value filter. Okay, and this is also shown here how to apply a value filter. Perfect. This needs to go inside the single quote, so let me copy it from here. So this value filter thing, this needs to go inside the this thing. But now what this value filter have, it have two attributes, attribute 1 and attribute 2. The first attribute says the value should be equal to, and equal to what? Equal to this. The value should be equal to, and equal to what? Equal to this. So equal to, the value should be equal to male. I want to see the value equal to male. Binary, it's saying the value is of the type binary. See this? So what's happening here is, ये जो बाइनरी है एक तरह से, ये जो स्ट्रिंग है, दिस इज अ स्ट्रिंग, उसको रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए हम बाइनरी लिखते हैं. मतलब एक तरह से आप मान के चलो कि ये तो आपको लिखना ही लिखना है हमेशा, बाइनरी कॉलन उसके बाद एक्चुअल वैल्यू. दिस इज जस्ट टू रिप्रेजेंट द डेटा टाइप, वेदर इट्स अ स्ट्रिंग और अ नंबर. सो बाइनरी इज what we prefix here. Okay, that's what the standard is. But what happens here is it looks for all the columns, it looks for all the columns like column age. इसका वैल्यू अगर मेल होता, मान लो इधर गलती से किसी ने मेल वैल्यू डाल दी थी तो ये भी आउटपुट में आ जाता. It looks for this, it tells you the value. So what it is doing is, guys, it's looking for all those columns where the value is male and showing you all those columns. But this is not the good thing, because you also need to specify the name of the column. So you haven't specified the name of the column here. So what we should do is we should specify the name of the column, and value filter is not meant for it. There is another filter for that. Let me show you. That is single column value filter. Here what you need to do, you need to specify the column family and the column name. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट दो ही फिल्टर्स होते हैं, वैल्यू फिल्टर एंड सिंगल कॉलम वैल्यू फिल्टर. वैल्यू फिल्टर में प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि आप ये तो बता देते हो कि भाई वैल्यू शुड बी मेल, बट फॉर विच कॉलम? इट लुक्स फॉर ऑल द पॉसिबल कॉलम्स अवेलेबल, विच इज बैड. आइडली यू शुड टेल कि भैया मुझे इस कॉलम की वैल्यू अगर मेल है तो आउटपुट दो, वरना मत दो. ठीक है. So for that we have single column. Single column means on a single column you want to apply the filter. Here the filter was applied on all the columns, whether it's age, gender. No. You want to apply single column value filter. So you will say the column family, because same column can be inside multiple column families. So you want to apply the filter on the personal data column family और उसके भी gender column पे अगर value binary male है, अगर value male है. कॉपी, सब कुछ सिंगल कोट्स में होता है यहाँ पे. हम देखो अभी फर्क क्या हुआ, कुछ तो फर्क हुआ. We will analyze that. But if you look at single column value filter, it's saying where the personal data, in the personal data, gender is equal to male. Okay. तो यहाँ पर सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि उसने मुझे ये वाला कॉलम, मतलब सारे कॉलम्स उसके, मतलब एक तरह से पूरी रो प्रिंट करके दिए. अगर मैं ये वाला वैल्यू देखूं तो पूरी रो मुझे प्रिंट होकर मिली है. लेकिन ऊपर वाले केस में मुझे सिर्फ वो कॉलम मिला था जहां पर वो वैल्यू सेटिस्फाइड हुई थी, जबकि इसके लिए मुझे ये एज वाला भी आउटपुट आना चाहिए था फॉर रो की 1, वो नहीं आया था. बिकॉज इसका पर्पस क्या है, मुझे सिर्फ वो कॉलम बता देना जो जो इसको सेटिस्फाई कर रहा है कंडीशन को. बट दिस इज गिविंग मी द फुल आउटपुट. बट अभी यहाँ पर एक गड़बड़ हो रही है, ये आउटपुट में क्यों आ रहा है, ये नहीं आना चाहिए. let me modify this. Copy and paste. Okay, I look into it, but let me first show you copy. मैं आपको एक queries ping कर रहा हूँ पहले. I'm pinging you all these queries. Please practice them. Meanwhile, I'm looking into it कि ये सारा डेटा क्यों दे रहा है. तो अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं गाइज, यही सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है हमारे लिए. तो फिल्टरिंग करना डेटा की. जैसे हम SQL में तो वेयर क्लॉज से कर देते हैं, यहाँ हमें ये डिक्शनरी पास करनी पड़ती है. Filter can be a value filter. So value filter is working fine, but we should use a single column value filter. Like for this particular column, a value is equal to male. Binary एक आपको लगाना ही पड़ता है. That's fine. But now why it's giving all the data? I'm looking into that. Nitika, what's your question? I didn't get it. If it is multi-label, Nishta, I missed it actually. What was it? So by multi-class, you mean to say if the value is more than one, right? Then there is a different way of representing that. I'll tell you. There is a different way of representing the multi-class values, Nitika. Like where you say, okay, gender is male or female. Show me only for those, not for others. So that can also be represented. So guys, we will take a break for 15 minutes here. And once we are back, we will continue from here only. Meanwhile, please practice those commands which I pinged you. So whenever you work on HBase, you primarily will be using the scan and the get commands with filters, limits, versions and all. Because मैं आपको बताता हूँ what I faced sometimes. I was given the data. Okay, I was given the data to run some machine learning model, and I got some issue with the data. And when I went back to the team said that we have the correct data. Like I said that your data is wrong in the HBase. They said no, see, data is right. They showed me the data was right. So can anyone tell me how I would have resolved that? When I initially looked, I found that data was wrong, but when I went back to the team, they showed me in the HBase that data was right. So how I caught the issue? That actually the data was wrong. I have already told you the solution for this. You need to apply your brain. Very good, Vipul. So that's what. So I looked at the timestamp of the correct value and I found that it was done like few hours back. And then because in real world you have versioning, so I asked them to show me the older versions and we found that the older value was wrong. So you don't really need to be expert of HBase, but these are the small things that you need to look into while you will be working as a data analyst or a data scientist. Okay. Thanks, people. That's a good answer. Okay, guys, we'll take a break, 15 minutes break. We'll connect at around 3:40. Yeah, Gulzar. Yeah, you need experience for these things, but yeah, I'm just sharing a few of the insights. Hi guys, please let me know if I'm audible and my screen is visible. Okay. So guys, where we left was the point where we are putting the filters, right? Edge-based filters. We have the value filter, but the problem with value filter is it look for all the columns and compare the value, but that really does not make sense, right? We want the filter on a particular column. So we should have a single column filter or a single column value filter where we specify the column family and the column and the condition, and then we get the data. But we saw that this record ये वाला आना नहीं चाहिए था क्योंकि इसमें जेंडर तो है ही नहीं. तो what happened is in HBase, like if there are such rows or records which don't have these kind of columns, वो आ जाते हैं यहाँ पे आउटपुट में. ओके मतलब इस पर्टिकुलर रिकॉर्ड के पास जेंडर का कोई कॉलम ही नहीं है, लेकिन वो फिर भी आउटपुट में आ जाता है बिकॉज उसको फिल्टर करने के लिए कोई लॉजिक ही नहीं था, ना तो उसके पास मेल वैल्यू थी ना फीमेल वैल्यू थी. तो इस तरह के रिकॉर्ड्स को अगर हमें सिस्टम में से हटाना है तो व्हाट वी नीड टू डू is we need to pass one more argument which is there. So I have passed two arguments here, true. यहां तक तो हमने पहले भी पास किया था. ओके बट ये जो है ट्रू और ट्रू, इसका मतलब क्या है? दिस कैन बी फॉल्स और ट्रू, मतलब दो वैल्यू होंगी. ये रिप्रेजेंट करता है कि ऐसे रिकॉर्ड्स जिनमें ये कॉलम नहीं है उनका क्या करना है, क्या उनको आउटपुट में दिखाना है या नहीं दिखाना. तो बाय डिफॉल्ट इट इज लाइक फॉल्स विच मीन्स कि दिखा दो, बट ट्रू मतलब नहीं, उनको हटा दो, फिल्टर कर दो. तो ट्रू मतलब फिल्टर दोज रिकॉर्ड्स और रिमूव दोज रिकॉर्ड्स विच डज नॉट हैव these columns. Okay, so this particular thing, this one, it specifies whether you want to filter those records which does not contain this column or not. So false means it will not filter, true means it will filter. तो जैसे मैंने ये ट्रू किया तो this particular record it got filtered out. Okay, so now the output is good. The another true which is sort of mandatory to pass here is when you are checking what if gender was female in the past. Gender for some columns currently it is female, but in the past it was male, for example. What will you do? So true means I always want to tell you, I don't want to check the past values. But if you make it false, तो ऐसे रो जिसमें पास्ट में अगर उसकी वैल्यू कभी भी मेल रही होगी और आज चाहे वो कुछ भी हो, लेकिन अगर पास्ट के किसी भी वर्जन में अगर वो वैल्यू मेल रही होगी तो वो भी आउटपुट में आ जाएगा. लेकिन हमें तो हमेशा लेटेस्ट वैल्यू पे ही फिल्टर लगाना है, तो इसलिए हमने बोला ट्रू मीन्स only the latest value, the latest version should be compared, not the older versions of that cell. Okay, so guys, you are getting the purpose of these two true values. One is whether you want to filter those records which does not. Second is you only want to compare the latest version, not the older. So that's true. अब मान लो लेकिन कल को तुम्हारी रिक्वायरमेंट ऐसी थी कि भाई पुराना भी उसका वैल्यू अगर मेल रहा हो वर्जन में तो मुझे वो वैल्यू दिखाओ, तो मैं इस सेकंड वाले को ट्रू को फॉल्स कर देता. ओके, the two additional filters or attributes with the filters. I have pinged you. So guys, with that, we are done with the edge base. Okay, definitely this is not everything in the edge base, but the basic level which you should know. Other than this, there are few important things also I'll tell you that are for a edge based developer, not for an analyst. What they are is Pehla, Java. Using Java, you can work with edge base. Second is Python. Using Python, happy base package, you can also work with edge base. Third is Pig. Even using Pig, you can access the data which is stored in edge base. And the fourth is Hive. Even using Hive, you can access the data which is in edge base. So Hive, Pig, Java, Python, all of these can be used to work with edge base. Okay. So what I want you to do is just practice the scan command, get command, these attributes, the dictionary attributes like filter, limit, and versions and all. Okay. Now let's see. There are few more commands, which is like if there is a table that you want to draw. You use for the alter command, right? Now let's say you want to drop a table. So there is this EMP table. I'm not dropping it. Okay, let me create another table. Or get the data. If they are disabled, you first need to enable them to see the data. Okay. So, and if you want to drop it, you first need to disable it. Then only you can drop it. Okay. These are some of the important features that Edgebase wants you to follow. Any questions so far? Enable, disable, drop, select, scan, get, filters, additional attributes, kind of filters. अच्छा एक चीज और है, ये आपको दिख रहा है, ये कॉलम फैमिली और ये जो उसके बाद होता है उसको हम कॉलम नेम कहते हैं, कुछ लोग उसको क्वालिफायर भी कह देते हैं. क्वालिफायर मतलब फर्क कोई नहीं है, इट्स वन एंड द सेम थिंग. For example, personal data is my column and age is my personal data is my column family and age is my column, right? Some people say age as a qualifier. Instead of column name, they say this is column qualifier. So this is one and the same thing, column name, column qualifier, whatever. So column family and column name or column qualifier. Guys, any question? Okay, perfect. So what you need to do, definitely don't go into कि Hive या Pix से इसके साथ कैसे काम किया जा सकता है या Java या Python से, leave it. Just practice these command line interfaces, these commands, practice them as much as you want. Gulzar, one column family can contain multiple columns. Okay. So I created a products table and there was 2 column families, right, in the products table. What was that? So when I want to create a product ultimately need to have 2 information. One is the manufacturer. So it will be having columns like manufacturer name, manufacturer address, manufacturer maybe year of registration. Okay. And the features of the product, whether it's a cloth, then if it's a like the category of the product, so category, price, the size, right? So that's how it is. Table, I will have personal details as one column family and professional details, yeah, academic details as another column family, right? Okay, so now we will come out of this, exit this. So this was now what we need to do. The next thing is talked about it. Okay, Uzi. So Uzi is not like a tool कि तुम उसके अंदर जाके कमांड चला सकते हो, नो. बट Uzi is like कि जैसे आप स्कूप की कमांड चला सकते हो वहां से, तो question is like now the question, what is Uzi? That means okay, you will end. If it is error, you will is quite good to start. And you ये येलो बॉक्सेस जो हैं ये आपके एक्चुअल कोड हैं जो आपको रन करने हैं, और जो ब्लू बॉक्सेस हैं वो ऊजी के कोड्स हैं. लाइक ऊजी को क्या करना है, तो ऊजी को आपने बोला स्टार्ट, and then you ask it to run a Java program which you must have written. After that Java program is completed successfully, okay का मतलब है it's successfully completed, then you run a Uzi fork. Fork means if you want to run multiple things after something, you fork it. Fork it means you divide it. So if this Java job is successful, you want to run a map reduce job and a pick job, and then you join means once both of these are completed, then only you will proceed. Let's say कि ये तो 5 सेकंड में कंप्लीट हो गया, ये 10 घंटे तक चलता रहा. Uzi जो है ये सबसे स्टार्टिंग में था, लेकिन अभी Uzi के कॉम्पिटिटिव one second, there is a battery issue. Okay. One second, guys. Okay. Yeah. So now what I'm saying is, you have learned about a lot of different tools, but what if you want to run one after another? You need a workflow engine, and Uzi is the workflow engine. Uzi come by default with Hadoop, but nowadays people are moving away from Uzi, and they are trying to use other tools like Airflow, okay, Airflow and Azkaban. Airflow versus so Uzi, Airflow and Azkaban. These are the three most important tools which are available in the open source world. But there is another tool known as NiFi, Apache NiFi, or NiFi, which is also very famous. Okay, so I'm just telling you, we are going to talk about Uzi, but there is Airflow, Azkaban, Lugi. All these are good tools, but NiFi is far better from all of these. So I worked on it long back. So Apache NiFi is far better. So if you look on my screen, Apache NiFi, इसकी full form होती है Niagara files. Ni is like the Niagara Falls we have. So it's Niagara files, Apache NiFi. It was given by Hortonworks, the Hortonworks company, and then later they made it open source. This is the interface, how it looks like. It can also create like, okay, run this, then after that this. You can see arrows and all, right? So that's what Apache NiFi is. Apache NiFi is really an amazing one. It's good. But what we are talking about is Uzi. So Apache Uzi, workflow scheduler for Hadoop. Okay. Other than that, there is this Airflow. So Uzi is oldest. Then there is this Airflow, which is Airflow is a platform created by the community to programmatically author, schedule, and monitor the workflow. So you want to run some things in the proper order, so you can do that. Okay. And then there is this Azkaban also. So again, it's an open source workflow manager. You look at it like this. See, you have a job A. Let's say this is MapReduce. After that, you want to run so many jobs in parallel. Like, let's say you want to run a scoop job to import some data. After that, you ran this particular subflow. I would say this is a subflow in parallel with, say, two of the other jobs. Let's say this is a pig, this is a hive. So all of these will run in parallel. This and this pura sub workflow. ये एक सब वर्कफ्लो कहलाएगा, या आप कह सकते हो ये पेरेंट वर्कफ्लो है और उसके अंदर ये चाइल्ड वर्कफ्लो है। इसके अंदर भी फर्दर पहले ये जॉब चलेगी, फिर ये दोनों पैरेलल में चलेंगी, जब ये दोनों कंप्लीट हो जाएंगी उसके बाद ही ये वाली चलेगी। तो जब ये सब वर्कफ्लो और ये दोनों जॉब्स कंप्लीट हो जाएंगी तभी ये वाली जॉब स्टार्ट होगी। तो एक तरह से ये आपका वर्कफ्लो है, फ्लो एग्जीक्यूशन। बट मान लो इफ दिस इज टेकिंग टू मच टाइम टू रन, you can kill it or you can pause it for some time. So you have all those facilities available. These systems also show you like out of this which is currently running, like that will be green, the rest will be of different color, like that. And you can see the logs, you can click on that and you can see the logs, even like what's happening on the system behind the scene. That is the power of these tools, whether it's Uzi, Airflow, Azkaban, Lugi or Nifi. Okay. So let's see this Apache Uzi. Yes. So this is the most important part where you are a Uzi client who creates a workflow. Okay, you say, okay, first run a big job, then okay, run a Hive job, and then in parallel run a MapReduce and a Spark. And once both of them are complete, join it and say run a HDFS command, like that. That's your workflow. So you send that workflow detail to Uzi server कि भैया मेरा ये वर्कफ्लो है, चला दो। तो Uzi सर्वर के पास तीन चीजें होती हैं। एक होता है Uzi बंडल जो यहाँ नहीं दिखा रखा, एक होता है Uzi कोऑर्डिनेटर और एक होता है Uzi वर्कफ्लो। तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है वर्कफ्लो। आप क्या बनाते हो? आप बनाते हो वर्कफ्लो और आप सर्वर को कहते हो भैया रन दिस वर्कफ्लो। बट अब सर्वर कहेगा भाई व्हेन टू रन दिस वर्कफ्लो, तो तुम कहते हो हर रोज इस वर्कफ्लो को रात को 6 बजे शुरू कर दो। तो ये जो घड़ी दिख रही है मतलब कोऑर्डिनेटर टेक्स केयर ऑफ दैट। तो जो क्लाइंट है वो अपना वर्कफ्लो भी सबमिट करता है और साथ में अपना एक कोऑर्डिनेटर डिटेल भी सबमिट करता है कि व्हेन टू रन दिस। सो एवरी डे व्हेन दिस टाइम कम, automatically server will run your workflow. That workflow will be executed on Hadoop. Okay. This is just showing that diagram which I just show you, right? This is one of the workflow. So here green boxes are your jobs. Jobs can be MapReduce, Pig, Hive. It can be a Linux script. It can be a simple Java code without MapReduce, anything. Blue boxes are Uzi specific buttons. Okay. Okay, perfect. Now look here. This is one of the workflow that you created. You can create it diagrammatically. मतलब वर्कफ्लो हम अगली क्लास में बनाएंगे। Uzi का वर्कफ्लो या तो आप ड्रैग ड्रॉप करके इस तरह से बना सकते हो जैसे आपको दिख रहा है स्क्रीन पे, या फिर हमें इसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं है, हम एक XML फाइल बनाते हैं। Guys, you look at this. We can write a XML file like this, which is having multiple tags, which is saying, okay, run a MapReduce, and once MapReduce is okay or error, whatever happens. So there are some action tags. Okay. So we can either write a XML file and execute it, or we can draw these kind of diagrams from the front end and execute it. Both options are available. So that are the two way of creating the workflows. Two way of creating workflow. This is one workflow. So here this is one workflow. This is another workflow. This is another workflow. So there are multiple workflows. And then here what it's showing is coordinator क्या करता है? Coordinator का काम क्या होता है? Coordinator waits for a event, a triggering event. So for example, that event is a time. 6 बजे ये वर्कफ्लो चलाना है, 7 बजे ये चलाना है, 8 बजे ये चलाना है, 9 बजे ये चलाना है. उसके बाद कोऑर्डिनेटर शांत बैठ जाएगा. फिर अगले दिन फिर से वो शुरू होगा. 7 बजे ये, 8 बजे ये, 9 बजे ये, 10 बजे ये. बस उसका काम है वर्कफ्लो को स्टार्ट करना. अब वर्कफ्लो के अंदर क्या हो रहा है उससे उसको मतलब नहीं है. ठीक है. अगर वर्कफ्लो फेल हो गया तो कोऑर्डिनेटर के पास इंफॉर्मेशन आ जाएगी कि हाँ भैया वो फेल हो गया. तो you need to understand first of all the concept which I am telling you. What is Uzi? What are the competitors of Uzi? Uzi is still being used by most of the companies. I have been using it as of today also. So Uzi but we prefer XML files. We don't prefer that diagram, drag drop, no. बिकॉज XML फाइल में हम ज्यादा कंट्रोल होता है हमारे हाथ में, हम बहुत सारा चीजें चेंज कर सकते हैं. तो जब हम XML फाइल या वर्कफ्लो बना लेते हैं उसको फिर हमें एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए कोऑर्डिनेटर लिखना पड़ता है और कोऑर्डिनेटर के बाद हमें कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता. दैट्स इट. तो हम प्रॉपर्टी फाइल्स बनाते हैं. वर्कफ्लो की भी प्रॉपर्टी फाइल बनाएंगे, हम अगली क्लास में बनाएंगे. कोऑर्डिनेटर की भी बनाते हैं और फिर हम उसको रन करते हैं. सो यू विल सी workflow.xml फाइल बनाएंगे हम. एक XML फाइल बनाएंगे वर्कफ्लो की और उसको कोऑर्डिनेटर के थ्रू रन करेंगे. लेकिन यहाँ तीसरी चीज के बारे में जानकारी नहीं दी गई है जो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ. इट इज सेइंग 2 components, right? Workflow and coordinator, which is correct. But there is third component also which is known as bundle. Uzi bundle. अच्छा, everything is a graph here. Directed acyclic graph. You are creating DAGs. DAG क्या होता है? DAG का मतलब होता है directed means you have direction. You are moving in particular direction, right? You are moving in a particular direction. That is directed. Acyclic means you are never coming back to the previous state. मतलब मान लो आप यहां से स्टार्ट हुए, ये रन किया, उसके बाद you come back. That will become cyclic. But here you are never have a cycle. It's acyclic and it's a graph. So DAG is directed acyclic graph. Okay, but here it's not talking about even see airflow S-के-बान आप देख रहे हो सब कुछ सेम ही दिख रहा है. Gulzar, acyclic means say you run this, then you run this, you run this. That's it. After that it's end. That is acyclic. Cyclic means after this job you could have again executed this job. एक लिंक ऐसा भी होता है वापस, वो साइकिल बन जाती कि आप यहां से स्टार्ट हुए, यहां आए और फिर से वापस यहां चले गए, वो साइकिल होती. लेकिन यहां आप यहां आए और यहां से बस खत्म हो गया. दैट इज acyclic. Even pig is acyclic, spark is acyclic, everything is acyclic. Yes, running it once, or I would say you can never run the previous step. For example, even from here, if you have a link to this, it would be a cycle. You can run, yes, a process only once, not multiple times. So whether you use Azkaban, Airflow, Lugi, Nifi, everything is similar. Okay. So you guys can log in to the browser and open Hue. Guys, please open the Hue. अपने वर्चुअल मशीन का Hue ओपन करना. मेरा वर्चुअल मशीन अभी बंद हो गया है, बट मैं आप लोगों को बता रहा हूँ. अपना वर्चुअल मशीन का अंदर जो Hue है उसको ओपन करो. लॉग इन इनसाइड दिस दैट. आपको क्लाउडेरा यूजर से लॉगिन करना होगा. मैं वो फ्री वाले पे लॉगिन कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है, मैं इस समय फ्री वाले पे लॉगिन कर रहा हूँ. इन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा चेंज कर दिया है सिस्टम में. गाइज, आप लोगों ने अगर वर्चुअल मशीन पे लॉगिन कर लिया हो उसके व्यू में, तो आप उसमें ऊपर देखो, आपको एक ऑप्शन मिल रहा होगा यहाँ पर कहीं. आई टेल यू, इसमें नहीं है वो ऑप्शन, पुराने में होता है. यहाँ पर कहीं पे आपको ऊजी या वर्कफ्लो का ऑप्शन दिख रहा होगा. उस पर क्लिक करो. उसमें 3 चीजें दिख रही होंगी: वर्कफ्लो, कोऑर्डिनेटर एंड बंडल. प्लीज पिंग मी yes or no if you are able to see that. Yes or no, please. Please check that. Please, guys, you will see it like this. Let me show you.
In this video, we will learn
ओके, सॉरी. सो गाइज, इस तरह से आपको स्क्रीन दिख रहा होगा, जिसमें ऊजी में आपको वर्कफ्लो, कोऑर्डिनेटर, बंडल दिख रहे होंगे. और ये आपको दिख रहा होगा कि आप इस तरह से ड्रैग ड्रॉप करके वो वर्कफ्लो बना सकते हो. इवन इसके पीछे एक वर्कफ्लो फाइल ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट हो जाती है. वो मैं आपको पिछली क्लास में दिखाऊंगा. You have option to send emails. You have an option to run HDFS commands, scoop commands, shell scripts, a lot of things. You can drag these boxes and put them here. Drag them and put them here. Please let me know if you are seeing this, yes or no. Okay, Vipul, thanks a lot. Okay, what to check. Gulzar, are you able to see this? Nishtha? Perfect, Tanya. Okay, Gomini, Aditi. Perfect. Because my machine is currently down, I'll do that in the next class. But yeah, so you guys see that yes, Uzi is available, and we can work on this Uzi editor. Okay. That's perfect, Gulzar. Thanks. So this is how the Uzi editor will look like, and using this we can create all those workflows, and then we can run them, and we can monitor the Uzi jobs. Like you can see here, things which Uzi workflows which are running, Uzi workflows which are completed, and further by clicking on these we can see the full log, the MapReduce log, the pig hive log, scoop log, everything can be tracked from the Uzi. Okay, Now the only thing that left was the Uzi bundle. That is a Uzi bundle. So Uzi bundle is like a bundle of multiple jobs. It's it's like you have multiple coordinators that you want to run one after another. So you can do. Okay. So I was on mute, guys. So I'm saying the Uzi bundle allows you to define and execute a bunch of coordinators. So what I mean by that is, say there is a workflow that you want to run. So there will be a coordinator which will be associated to that workflow. This coordinator will decide when to run this workflow, right? But now say you have another coordinator which is associated to another workflow. You have another coordinator which is associated to another workflow. And what you want to do is, only once this coordinator is complete, then run this coordinator. Means ठीक है, 6 बजे इसको चलाना है, 7 बजे इसको चलाना है, ठीक है, लेकिन मान लो 6 बजे वाला अभी चल ही रहा है, कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ और 7 बज गए, तो क्या आप उसको गुड. That's the benefit of workflow engines. You can resume from that point only, failure point. By resolving the issue, you can just right click here and there will be option restart from this point, or there will be option restart from the first point. So all those options will be there. Okay, Gulzar? Is it clear, Gulzar? Okay. Perfect, guys. I'll wait for 2 more minutes if there is any more questions. So Uzi, Java, and then we will do Spark. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Please practice SQL. Please practice SQL or Hive and HBase also. Okay, guys. I request you to read Java at least, like, because I cannot teach complete Java. So please read basic Java, and then I'll help you. And download one tool, which is Eclipse. Please download this tool on your local laptop, not in the VM. So you must have this tool in before Friday. So Friday we will do Java. We will not do MapReduce Java. We will do Java. So you need to download this. Okay. Just download this tool. Gulzar, there are a lot of sources to do that. I think Java T-Point is, I think, the simplest one. You can use Java T-Point, and here you can even read everything, but you can read about Java here. Okay, there are far better websites also, but to start you can do this. Okay. You can read from the Java T point and download the Eclipse, practice it. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot. That's what Vipul, I am trying to make only things very basic, not that level, too much complex. Let's see. So just read about Java, Uzi. I will tell you. Don't read Uzi. Just read Java. Or even if you don't want leave Java, I'll tell you on Friday. Don't worry. जो पिछला है सिर्फ उस पे फोकस करो जो अभी तक हो चुका है. Uzi और Java को अभी I'll take care from the very basic. Okay, so your point is important. So just focus on whatever we have done so far. No need to run into new things. Yeah, Nishtha, you guys focus only on the past content. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Excuse me, sir.
Gulzar, you can call me. I have already disconnected, I think.